Welcome everybody to another awesome interview with one of our great golfing legends here in South Africa. It's my privilege to welcome Reid, who's the Director of Golf and Leisure at Fancourt. Ryan, welcome, bud, and thanks so much again for making time for us today.
Pleasure, buddy. Thanks for having me. Yeah.
Cool. So as we started off last week with Gondwana, I've got a wonderful red wine from the Wellington Valley. It's on a wine farm called Mishka, and it's a nice big bold blend, which I'm really enjoying at the moment. So what do you got there? You got a glass of red?
I've got a Kloof variety, and it's called Ducket.
Ducket.
Yeah,
Okay.
managed to get it through lockdown. So at the moment, it's pretty good.
Through prohibition.
Yes.
It's pretty crazy at the moment. I think we've all kind of lost track of how many days we've been in lockdown, but there's definitely I think it's
51, 52,
something like that. Just over 7 weeks odd. So it's pretty crazy, but you just got to smile and get on with it. You know, I think there's still lots to be done. And as I mentioned before we started, we're still working 5 days a week, and there's plenty of projects to get stuck in. So I think you just got to keep going and keep positive, because
Absolutely.
Everybody's kind of in the same boat. So
I'm looking forward to some leave.
Leave? What is that?
I can't wait.
We were supposed to be in Namibia for 2 weeks. So unfortunately, that's kind of not going to happen. But when the borders open, and they're talking hopefully June sometime for Namibia, then it's time to get in the car, put the surfboards on the roof, and go and hang out up the West Coast. So really looking forward to that.
Awesome.
Yeah. Cool. So I think just to start with, I did mention, you're the Golf and Leisure Director at Fancourt. Most of the people that are watching us tonight know where Fancourt is, and it's only 4.5 hour drive from Cape Town, and a 40-odd minute flight. So it's really accessible from all the main hubs in South Africa.
Yep.
Before we start talking about Fancourt, maybe just give us a little background. Who is Reid, and where have you come from the last couple of years?
I think, at heart, I'm a sports junkie. I grew up playing every sport under the sun, as much as possible, as often as possible. And by hook or by crook, became a golf professional. And back in '99, I chose golf over cricket. I think I had the choice at the time, and became a golf pro. Okay. Traveled the world, played on the Sunshine Tour, Asian Tour, Challenge Tour, and one of the highlights, probably the European Tour from 2003 to 2006. And that's my background, By default, got into the industry, got an amazing opportunity back in 2006 to join Leopard Creek as the head professional, and really got there with the aim of going back on tour. I thought, well, it's going to be such a quiet environment. I'll join in September, August, and then practice for a couple of months, and then go back on the Sunshine Tour. I thought after 7 years of being a pro, that it was good to take a break, get a breather, clear the head, get back out there. And I loved the industry so much that I never went back on tour.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, a touring pro's job is certainly not as easy as people think, though. A couple of years on tour, super tough.
It's lonely, I think, above all else. I remember I was fortunate enough to win 2 events. And by the time you've signed the scorecard and received the trophy, your caddies left, your friends are not there anymore, they've gone to the next event, and sometimes you end up having dinner on your own. It's quite a surreal life. So unless you make it like Tiger and the rest of the superstars.
And you hop in your jet afterwards and
exactly
go to the next destination.
And invite your mates to join you, and then have a beer or two, or sing on the way to the next event. But other than that, it's a lonely life.
Yeah. So, I mean, good times at Leopard Creek, obviously one of our premier golf courses, and fantastic experience for people that have been there. I know it's highly ranked.
Absolutely.
In the southern part of the Kruger National Park. And then you moved to Serengeti, but more on the operational side.
I did. At the time, family, my wife and I had a little girl, and being at Leopard Creek is being in a small village in the middle of nowhere. It takes about 45 minutes just to go and watch a movie if you want to. And felt that Serengeti, a new Jack Nicklaus signature 27-hole estate, was prime opportunity to go and learn. And ended up from teaching a bit at Leopard Creek and managing the golf to being the general manager or the CEO and running in a new 27-hole estate, which was unbelievable. Great learning curve. And fond memories actually.
Yeah. Serengeti for me is a special golf course, and a lot of our internationals, they don't get the opportunity to go and play it because very rarely do they spend too much time in Johannesburg. Unfortunately, actually, in my opinion, because there's some amazing golf courses, and I thought Serengeti was a really good, challenging layout and super fun. Plenty scoring opportunities, but also tough. And I think one of the things I remember fondly is your draft beer tap in the locker rooms. For everybody who hadn't been there, I think it was. I think you could have a pint after golf in the locker rooms.
Yeah, it was complimentary. So, growing up being in golf, I was always the youngest. I made the team, when I was younger, and as a forfeit, I was always the skivvy. The guy that had to go and fetch the beers for the rest of the golfers in the change room after the round. And I thought, well, this, if I'm going to run and operate a golf course, I'm going to make it easy for that young guy that he doesn't have to go upstairs and fetch beers and just make it complimentary. As you came off the golf course, we used to give either complimentary draft or water or, fresh fruit juice or anything. But it was the talking point of the experience for sure.
Yeah. I think it's a great idea. So I want to see that up at Fancourt. You may have to get a serious sponsor because we all know how the guys like to have a pint or two after golf. That's for sure. I'm just going to admit someone else quickly, Ryan. So give me one second. While we're going. There we go. Christine, we have begun, but I'd just like to welcome you and thank you again for joining us. Christine is one of our top agents from France. So welcome all the way from France. Christine's great to have you join us. Cool, Ryan. So then you got the opportunity to move down to Fancourt. And I mean, that must have been just an awesome opportunity because we all know what piece of paradise George is. And Fancourt being our number one golf estate, you must have thought, cool, great challenge and what an opportunity. So how did that go? I'm sure with the family you must have been pretty excited to move down to the coast.
Absolutely, Warren. I strangely enough had moved the family prior, so I was commuting back and forth between living in George and working at Serengeti, and then the opportunity came up and never hesitated. Fancourt ticks every box. It's such a challenge from day to day. So blessed, lucky to be there, and happy to add value as much as I can.
Yeah, I think for me, we're very fortunate in this industry. We go and we travel around the world. We spend time at some amazing golf estates, and I get such an awesome feeling when we drive into Fancourt. It's super special. I mean, the hair stands up on the arms, just thinking about it. And I really miss driving up to Fancourt and saying hi to the guys because you generally get that awesome, warm welcome. And I mean, we are known to the staff, which is great. And it's like coming home, which is really cool. And I think our clients, they have the same sort of experience. And it really is such a special place. So, you've worked hard behind the scenes on improving certain parts of the golfing experience and the welcome You know, over the last year or two, there's been a lot of changes at Fancourt and good changes. You must have quite a big team though. Like how big is the team behind the golf department?
Yeah, I just want to touch on something you said earlier there, which is, you know, Fancourt's sense of community. It's incredible. I'm amazed every time the staff greets a guest, because we have so many repeat guests, and they always remember their name. It's phenomenal. They've got such a gift. And the same when our members come back, because we've got swallows that travel in and out, year in, year out. They always know exactly who they are. They know what drink they drink. They know everything, which is fantastic. But yeah, to go back to the team, obviously we manage 3 golf courses. So there's a complement of about 100 golf course maintenance staff, split over the 3. In terms of square meterage, it's fascinating because both the Montagu and the Outeniqua put together make up the same size as the Links. So we've actually, which is, the Links is 90,000 square meters on its own of, you know, maintained area. So we've got a 48 staff on the Links, and we've got another 48 split over the 2 courses, Montagu and Outeniqua. And then we have a golf operations team at Fancourt, at the Monty and the Outeniqua, of about 25 staff in total that look after both courses. And then quite a small complement at the Links, actually. They do a lot of multitasking. They start in the morning, they might serve you a drink on the beverage cart later in the day, and then, you know, they greet you afterwards. So actually not that big at the Links. We've got about 16 staff that look after the Links.
Okay. That's actually, it's amazing. I mean, I think it's a lot of numbers in general. And as a guest, we don't see what happens behind the scenes. We just arrive and it's just perfect, you know. And, you know, I know a lot of the guys underneath you, and they all work hard, but at the end of the day, they're at Fancourt, and it's almost the pinnacle for people working in the golf industry. So, 3 golf courses, tons of maintenance. How do you keep everybody happy? You know, you've got a hotel that's got 115 rooms. The manor house has got 18 rooms. Generally, in the summer season, I mean, most of the people staying there are going to be golfers. It must be tough to keep everybody happy, including the members. How many members have you got? You must have
1,200 at Fancourt, and another 100, give or take, at the Links.
Yeah, so that's a lot of people to look after.
When the toughest part about it, when I arrived 3.5 years ago, was trying to understand the expectations of the different customers, and trying to fit that into the same day on the same golf course, which I found impossible. You know, an overseas guest coming is on holiday, does not want to be rushed around the golf course, wants to have this, you know, calming experience. The members think that they own the place. They really do think that it's theirs, and they pay for it. So, and they want to play in 3.5 hours. So the best thing we ever did was to split the golf courses, you know, to have 1 course a day dedicated to the members, and 1 course every day dedicated to, you know, our visitors and our customers and our guests staying in the hotel. It just allowed us operationally to serve that customer's best interests, you know, to design the tee sheet for that player, to set up the whole experience for that player. So it made a massive difference for us. The members like greens running at 12.5, 13 on the stimp. And, you know, and your average hotel guest that's on holiday wants them to run at 10.5, 11. And we can actually achieve that now, which is, it's made a huge difference over the last, I'd say, 18 months in delivering that experience. So
I agree with that. I mean, when we first heard about the plan to have a members day and then use the other course for guests, we weren't too happy, because we have a lot of clients, obviously, and they want to play, you know, the golf courses, and they're not all groups. So how do you keep everybody happy? But actually, it's worked out great, and I think it was probably a very, very clever idea, and it may have probably also saved some of the golf courses from having too many people walk them. You know, on a members day, you probably don't have a full field, or do you have a full field? I'm not sure.
All depends on the time of year, I guess. When the hotel's busy, when it's not busy. Members have their traditional days. They play Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and the other days it's relatively quiet, you know.
Yeah.
So it's worked out really well. I'm glad you guys have enjoyed it too. So
yeah, listen, it works for us, and you know, we've also got a great relationship with you guys, and I think that's just a testament to your team. If there is an issue, or you know, you're always there to help out, and if we can be flexible at times, great. But I mean, I think the way it's structured definitely works. And
we do.
If you have bigger groups, you know, we split them, and it does work. You know, if half the group has to play Montagu and a couple four balls on the links, it works. Everybody gets together at night and they're having the same discussions, you know, and how awesome their round of golf was. So it does add to the experience, especially with a group.
Absolutely. And we have been flexible. We're able to accommodate if necessary. If there's a group that's in-house for one night and they really want to play the Montagu and it just happens to be the members' course that day, we're always able to make a plan.
Yeah. No, I agree. I'm just going to ask everybody who's watching and listening us, if you have any questions, please send me a question privately on Zoom, not on WhatsApp or email, because I'm not going to be able to multitask. But yeah, pop me a question and we'll have a chat about it. And then, yeah, I think obviously the main point for this conversation for me is, you know, we can chat about the hotel with Pete and the marketing guys, but the hotel's fantastic. And for me as a golfer, you know, I absolutely love Fancourt. I love the various golf offerings there with your 3 golf courses. And I want to just dive into the golf courses and have a chat about them, because all of our clients are keen golfers, and when they come out here, you know, they want to play golf every day, and some of them end up playing 36 holes a day, these crazy guys, you know. So if we look at the golf courses, you know, you've got Outeniqua, Montagu, and the Links. I like guys to start at Outeniqua, because for me it's the friendlier of the 3, but it's not necessarily the case, because some of our high handicappers play Montagu and they love it and they end up playing better. So but for me, Outeniqua is a really good golf course for high handicappers and lower handicappers. So, you know, what are your thoughts on what makes it, you know, a little different to Montagu, and how would you rank it amongst the 3? I mean, you're obviously based there and love all 3, but what do you think?
I think if you look at the ratings and how the Golf Digest panel members, you know, rank it, it's definitely underrated. For me, it's the most fun to play. It's less demanding off the tee, yet it has, you know, some of the trickiest greens out there. It's I think just as pretty or just as beautiful and aesthetic. It's got more views of the mountain as you play the golf course. Yeah. It still has its undulations. For me, it's the golf course. If I had to choose to play one of the 3, I'd play the Outeniqua. Yeah. I have so much fun out there.
Yeah, it's a great golf course, and this is, I don't know if you can see this now, but it's a picture of the first hole. And
we made some changes there.
Yeah, you've made changes. I haven't showed you the right one, but you know, for me, this is actually not the picture that I wanted to show you. But anyway, doesn't matter. This is the first hole. It was the first hole.
Yeah, that's how it is today. That's it today. Yeah.
You know, it's a nice, friendly opening hole. I think it's really important from a golf course perspective. You know, get the guys out there to play a course that is friendly. I'm gonna leave that picture. I want to go to this one, because I made a couple of notes about my favorite golf holes at Outeniqua. And I mean, there's so many good golf holes, but if I look at the all-time par 3 on this golf course, it has to be this hole, the 4th. It's probably the most demanding of all 4 on this golf course, but I like it a lot. And it's generally quite long from the back, but if you do move forward, you know, any golfer can actually get the ball in the green and then end up having the opportunity to take a birdie putt. But what a great golf hole, and especially with those mountains in the background, they're really special.
It is a fantastic par 3.
Yeah.
This past year we had our Fancourt Open, which is the top amateurs from around the country came and played in a SAGA event.
Yeah.
And always the perception is that, if you're going to play the Outeniqua, you can score, you can go well under par.
Yeah.
And I thought I'd make a statement, and I set the golf course up a bit tricky. Out of a field of give or take 100 players, one guy made par on the fourth the whole day.
Oh, wow.
The average played at about 4.5. So
wow.
It's what you make of it. It's an unbelievable little par 3. But off the back tees, you can hit 3-iron, 4-iron into a semi-island green if the pin's on the left-hand side.
Yeah.
But you have to take your punishment and play to the fat side of the green.
Yeah, I love that hole. And there's been a couple of times we played it where the pin is tucked away in the left there, and oh man, I've never hit a good one. But one of the last times I played there, the pin was front right, and I managed to absolutely smash one, but a big hook, and it did end up, back left of the green, which is ridiculous. So typical, this funny game called golf. But I mean, there's some great holes on this golf course. I think really, really special. Number 9 specifically, I think is a great par 4. Just before that wonderful par 5 up the hill, par 3 before that. I mean, stunning, So there really are some great golf holes. For me, another hole that stands out is number 2. It's a relatively, it's not a long par 5, but really, really good visual hole. So,
and yeah, for me, the stadium finish, holes 14 through to 18 played around, central water feature, undulation, hitting downhill on the 14th tee shot and then back up to the green, and vice versa when you come back on 15 and 16. It's got risk reward. It's an incredible little 5-hole finish.
Very special. I think one of the reasons why I put that first hole picture up there is because the last time I was at Fancourt, we had a little match play game, and I stood up on the first hole. And you knocked it on the green, made birdie, and I didn't recover. So thanks for teaching me a lesson there, bud.
I hope we can do it again soon.
We will. I guarantee you. We just got to be patient. That's for sure. But there's going to be some rusty golf swings. That's for sure. Adam's asking, as a matter of interest, how many rounds per year on each golf course? What do you guys like to keep that to?
Yeah, we do, Adam. We do on average between 52 and 60,000 rounds on the Montagu and the Outeniqua.
Wow.
And a pretty much even split between the two. So, between 26 and 30,000 rounds apiece. And then on the links, anything up to about 10,000 rounds. Sure. The links, we set the courses up so different in terms of tee intervals. Montagu and Outeniqua, our capacity on a good summer's day is 180 golfers for an 18-hole round of golf, starting at 7 in the morning at 10-minute intervals. And then on the links, we split the field. So we only tee off every 15 minutes at the links, and a full field at the links on any given day is 72 golfers. So you hardly experience anyone out there. You feel like you're on your own in that natural beauty. So that's part of the experience, is that you don't see anyone else.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that is one of the special things for me, especially with the link. So I've shared a picture up now. It's the 18th at Montagu. Montagu, highly rated golf course, been in the top 10 in the country forever, really. And for me,
at number 1.
Yeah. What ranking is it now?
Way back when. It's number 8 now in the country.
Yeah, number 8. Okay, so it was 1 for a while, and I think incredibly special Parkland course. It's just memorable as you go through the golf course. It starts with a really tough par 4, and it's not even a long par 4, but for some reason, whenever I stand on that tee box, it's just an interesting one. You don't really know, should you hit driver, should you hit a 3-wood, should you hit a rescue, just keep it on the fairway. And then it's a tough little starting green.
It's an awkward tee shot.
It's odd
visually.
Visually,
it's
tough.
Visually, even for the top pros, even for the guys that come and play in the dimension data, it doesn't sit right. It doesn't look right when you stand up and try and visualize your tee shot. So many guys make bogey up that first hole.
Yeah, Yeah, and it's super tough. And then you walk up the hill, you know, you try and catch your breath, and then you stare at this incredible par 3 down the hill, and the green is actually quite a big green, but from the top there, you know, it looks relatively small, and I've very rarely hit that green. You know, it's a tough starting couple of holes.
Well, that's the challenge of the Montagu. You've got to try and get through the first 8 holes, and if you can, you know, the golf course comes to you. The rest of the holes you can make birdies. You've got a lot of par 5s to finish. But yeah, I mean, the first 8 holes, if you're anywhere, I mean, for the top guys playing in the data, if you're anywhere near level par, you think you're going to make a score on the day. But so many guys go through there 3, 4, 5 over par quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, it just gets tougher as you get to 6 and 7.
It does, but
some of the best par 4s actually in the country. I think that stretch towards that par 3. I think it's the 8th is the par 3 if I remember correctly. So 6 and 7, super tough par 4s.
But again, Warren, the beauty for me of the 3 golf courses is that you never ever hit the same shot twice. You never feel through the design features. You never feel like you're playing the same hole twice. And the course sets up so good, not only for the pros, but for every level of golfer. You can, I mean, if you're prepared to move up a tee box, 1 or 2, which the game encourages now. It really does. You know, it plays easy, not easy, but I mean, it doesn't demand too much from your game, and you can enjoy the facilities on all 3 actually.
No, I agree.
Without,
I think
without feeling intimidated. You know?
You're right, and you got to choose the right tee box. I think that is so talked about now, and it's incredibly important. There's no need to go and play off the back tee these days. It's just silly. So he has a great picture, and it's not one that we used often, but you know, I think for people who maybe don't recognize it, it's the 10th green. The 10th is a par 5 down the hill, and I actually, when I made some notes about the golf course, I put this one down as my favorite par 5, and probably because I feel that I can attack it. You know, you hit a good drive down the hill, and you can get a 3-wood, or you know, probably a good 3-wood now, but you can actually take it on, and it's a really good par 5 visually for me too. So yeah, really good hole.
I think it's my second favorite hole on the golf course.
Oh, wow. Okay. See, that's good to hear, because I think a lot of people might choose other holes, but I think the 10th, great hole.
Incredible hole, and probably one you should never be challenging, Warren.
I can't help it.
Exactly. I think it lulls you into thinking that you've actually got a chance of hitting that green.
Yeah. No, you're right.
And it's so tough.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing about golf. You got to think you can take on everything, man. Surely, come on.
If there's no check afterwards, you might as well take it on. It's only a golf ball. Anyway.
Exactly, you're quite right.
Yeah, exactly.
With Pro Vs are not that cheap anymore, but so this picture over here is taken from the links side, and it's the bottom half of the front 9 of Montagu. But again, I think I put this one up because it is such an awesome backdrop. You know, that's the golf course just lends itself for spectacular views, and when I'm there with guests or with our agents, I find myself reaching for my phone a lot, and it's just snapping away because there really are so many photogenic places on the golf course. So I like this photo too. It's number 17.
17, obviously.
You know, one of the best par 3s on the golf course, and it's a special way to sort of get to the end of this golf course. Really, really pretty hole.
It's probably the most photographed picture of any of the 3 courses, for sure.
I would say it's right up there for sure.
Warren, going back to that picture on the 18th of the links, that one that overlooked the 4th green.
Yeah.
So there's always a challenge for every long hitter that tries to see if they can reach the 4th green of the Montagu from the 18th tee of the links.
Okay.
And it's probably about a 360 meter, 400-yard carry.
Wow.
And yeah, true story or not, but there's one guy that's actually landed it on the middle of that green.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah. So from the 18th tee box of the links to the fourth green, which is the par 5 down the hill.
Yeah.
Wow.
When the story goes, when they played the President's Cup way back in 2003, is that the American team were playing first and having their practice round, and David Toms got up on the 18th tee of the links off the pro tee and hit his tee shot as good as he can and didn't actually reach the fairway.
Yeah.
And at the time, Jack approached Gary and said, we're going to have to move up. We're going to have to go to the normal tee of this hole.
Yeah.
And Gary said, why? He said, well, David can't, Jack said, David can't reach the fairway. And Gary said, well, tough luck for you, buddy. The problem is that when Timmy Clark got up on the 18th tee, he couldn't reach the fairway either. And after that, Gary said, okay, Jack, we'll move up.
Yeah, classic,
Classic.
Now let's move on to the links. I mean, sure, it's a very special golfing experience for those that haven't been to South Africa yet. For me, probably the ultimate golf experience, and it starts with the welcome that you get when you pull up to the Links clubhouse. And Mark and his team are well known for really hospitable experiences for guests, and they do an incredible job. I mean, what's to say? It's going to be our number one golf course for many, many years. I think it's really special. When we play there, we also always go off the back. We want to see if we can knock it up there, and we've done it a couple of times, but I can only imagine even the pros are sitting there going, oh, this could be a serious number. So there's a big story about the links, and obviously the guys developed the land. Gary Player and Dr. Hasso Plattner came up with just an incredible concept for this wonderful golf course. What do you think of it?
It's just, I mean, we're in a spectacular. What Gary and Dr. Plattner were able to do on a flat airfield and create that masterpiece and make it look so natural is incredible. They reckon that the amount of earth used in order to landscape the golf course, you could line the trucks up from the gates of Fancourt and they would go all the way to Cape Town.
Wow.
And I can believe it because it's 90,000 square meters. It's cool season golf course, cool season grass.
Yep.
And it's just incredible. You never see anyone on the facility. It's unique. It feels like you're playing, although it doesn't quite play like a links, like a true Scottish or Irish links. It looks the same. The quirkiness is the same. The design of the greens is the same.
Yep.
They always talk about dead elephants being buried in certain greens. It feels like that because it's just been so cleverly designed. I really do. I hope it stays number one in the country. It deserves to. Our aim is to try and see if we can move it up the world rankings a little bit and get a little bit more exposure. I know Pete's been, we've invited some of the top 100 panel members around the world to come and experience it. And I think it's got a real chance to move up those world rankings.
Yeah, it's been in the top 100 in the world outside the US for many years now. So there's no reason why it can't move up. It's an amazing golf course. And I firmly believe that it suits all golfers. I get a lot of high handicappers quite concerned, how many golf balls should I take and can I play it? Am I going to enjoy it? And when I play with high handicappers they have, some of the best rounds they've ever had. And it's because you're walking in an environment where you're not pushed for time. There is a nice big gap between the groups, and you really feel like you have it to yourself. And that for me is something that a lot of the other courses, like our local courses, they just don't have. You go and play golf on a weekend and you're pushed from start to finish, and it actually sucks, to be honest. But at the links,
sure does.
you can take your time. You really feel the golf course. It's a walking only golf course for those that haven't experienced it. And taking a caddy is a special experience for me too. And as I said, from the welcome that you get from the amazing staff at Fancourt, the practice facilities, she's second to none. Really unbelievable. I always tell my guys, especially the guests that are traveling with the PGA pros, get out to the range as early as you can. Don't rush to the links. That's the last thing you want to do, because the range is absolutely spectacular.
Yeah, I mean, the backdrop is the Outeniqua Mountains. It's got this incredible short game facility for you to practice.
Yeah.
And you're absolutely right. For me, the best experience in golf is with a caddy, walking down the fairway. The links was designed for that. It's got all these beautiful walkways in between the wetlands, the natural beauty. It's a conservation area, actually, is what they've created there, and there's a golf course in the middle of it. And you were saying something interesting earlier. What I found in my shortish time at Fancourt is that a lot of guests staying in the hotel will book one round at the links, and they might have one at Outeniqua, one at Montagu, one at the links, thinking that it's going to be this super challenging golf course. They're going to lose so many golf balls, and that it's actually going to be a struggle to get around the golf course. After the round, usually they go back and book another round. Yep. Because it's such an enjoyable walk, and it's actually not as tough as what people think. Visually, when you stand on the tee, you think, well, this is impossible. Where must I hit it? By the time you've walked up onto the fairway, you think, I need to have another chance at that tee shot. Because it's so wide. The fairways are so forgiving. It's actually quite hard to lose a golf ball if you're not hitting at 300 off the tee. If you're hitting about 180, 200 off the tee, it's not so difficult. And again, if you move up one tee or even two tees, the golf course is just all in front of you. There's no blind shots. You can see your ball land every single time. It's just it's quite a unique experience in our country. It's fun. I have a lot of fun around the links.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I think for me, it's the ultimate golf experience, and I'll go back time and time again, and I'll feel the same, thing when I walk down those fairways. It's just really, really special. And I would say, high handicappers, don't be scared. Get out there and play the golf course from the front tees. It really doesn't matter. There's only a couple of holes that you may struggle with, if you hit a poor one. Maybe number two. I don't know how far it is to the green from the front tee on the second hole, but it's probably not more than 180
yards.
Is it 80? So it's only
100 yards.
So that's really not a lot. And I think, high handicappers, get out there and enjoy it. And for me, to have the number one golf course in the country that's playable for everybody, very special. Very special.
The players, Warren, that actually enjoy it the most, I find, are your average lady golfer. They have the most fun out there. Of the very front tees, they love the bird life, the animals, exactly what they're seeing. And the golf course is not that challenging. You hit the ball down the middle of the fairway, it runs forever. You can see it running. You probably, compared to a tee shot on the Montagu, you're going to get an extra 40, 50 yards out of that tee shot. So you're hitting it further and you're having more fun.
No, I made a few notes on, some of my favorite golf holes. I'm just going to show this image quickly. This is also an older image, but I really like it. And this is one of the par fives coming in on the back nine, number 16. 16th. And like, if I look at my notes here quickly, I was thinking, what's my favorite par three? Well, I wrote down 2, 11, 17. Now I can't choose between the two. And I think whenever I stand up on number 2, I always think I'm gonna get a hole in one in this hole, because it's a crazy hole, but I've seen people get a hole in one, so I want it. And you always stand and you think, come on, it's got to happen. But 17.
You've left out the 8th.
The 8th one, I know the 8th is a great hole too.
Phenomenal.
Actually. Yeah, so there's so many good holes, and par fives. This is the 16th. I absolutely love this hole. It's so tight as you get up to the green, but visually it's so spectacular. I really, really enjoy that hole. Par fours, I think probably, it might not be the most spectacular, but for me, the third hole is a really good par four. That second shot always gets me. You know, you hit a good drive or a good 3-wood, and I can't get that second shot right. But visually, fantastic golf hole.
Yeah, it's one of those holes that you either love it or you hate it. John Bland doesn't think it's the most amazing hole in the world, but every single top 100 golf paddle member that I have says this could be in the top 18 golf holes of the world.
Yeah.
It's that type of hole. If you can walk away with a par, even a bogey, I think you run, take it.
Yeah. Ryan, maybe to talk us through the experience. So you get to the first tee. What are the guys? What can you your guys are going to talk you through the halfway house, etc. So talk us through the whole golf experience at the links.
So in the past season, we've introduced personalized caddy bibs, which is quite a nice touch. So when you arrive, caddies are compulsory for one. As a hotel guest, you have to take a caddy, but that adds so much to the experience that it's a must in my world. Have you got yours there with you, Warren?
I don't have mine, but I've got Adams.
Adams.
I've got Adams. So there we go. But I think this is a great little touch, and it makes the guest feel just a little bit more special.
Exactly. We've also gone plastic free, so we've now got filtered water all the way around the golf course, and you get your own aluminium water bottle when you arrive. You then get to the tee, and the old Scottish tradition is that if you're nervous trying to hit your first tee shot, you should have a wee dram of whiskey. So there's a few whiskeys on offer on the first tee, and we encourage you to at least have a sip before you tee off. There's complimentary snacks and things before you go, and the starter gives you this amazing little speech, and it's quite traditional. It reminds me of the old Ava Robson, from the European tour. And then off you go. They give you a little bit of guidance as to what to hit, because all the pot bunkers, and they tell you the yardage to reach each, and off you go, and you get to enjoy your experience. And then you get to the halfway house, which is, I think, so understated. It's actually, for me, one of the most special experiences there. I've had so many top CEOs from around the world, so this could be possibly the best halfway house anyway. Seared tuna cooked live on the grill in front of you, and it's so simple. And then one of the highlights is probably your complimentary ice cream before you head to the 10th tee. And then usually Mark and his team at the links will try and find you somewhere on the back nine, possibly at the back of 15, or the pro tee of the 12th overlooking 15 and 16, and offer you a complimentary G&T to take in the view, and then you get to play the last two holes, and then we've got our on the 18th, when you finish, we've got our homemade iced tea that the waiter or waitress serves to you at the back of the 18th. Very traditional 18th hole, traditional links 18th hole, and where the green borders the clubhouse. So every guest sitting in that clubhouse or on the veranda actually experiences, the last few shots with every single player. They actually live it. It's part of the experience. Is you're having a drink or a beer or something on the veranda there, and you're watching, what's unfolding in front of you. So, it's just incredible. Love it.
There's very few courses that I've had such a good experience in terms of hospitality, and I think definitely touch base again. Halfway house, very special. We've had so many good tuna steaks there.
Yeah.
Friendly staff. That little ice cream on the way out is always good. You stand on the 10th tee box and it's like, oh, here we go again. So it is really good. Your team have looked after us. A couple of G&Ts as we head towards the business end of the round and the links. But yeah, it's a great experience. For me as a golfer, you want to get out there and and try it all. So we've spoken golf, that's important, but the leisure aspect of Fancourt has certainly improved over the years. During our last visit, I know you walked me to your new little restaurant. I can't recall what you were calling it. It's like Splash Bar, I think it was called.
Poolside Cafe.
Poolside Cafe. So tell us about the new changes there and how the guests are going to enjoy it in summertime.
Yeah, so we looked at the 4 restaurants we had on site. None of them particularly took care of younger guests. You know, our kids and families. They were not really family orientated.
Yeah.
And we set up this cool vibe. It's a poolside cafe, very relaxed, around the pool, and designed as it's a takeaway option that you can sit down and enjoy at the pool. Around the pool, you can collect and go. You can go back to your lodge, your hotel room. Everything's really, really simple, really easy, and it's, you know, a little bit like it's a bit understated. You know, it's not trying to impress. It's just very basic, good food. And then, you know, we looked at the rest of the leisure opportunities in that facility, in the kids club and the teen lounge. We've got some cool upgrades coming, hopefully soon. I mean, you know, with COVID and the setbacks that businesses have had around the world, it's going to be a challenging time. But we've looked at what families really want and will need into the future. Digitalization, you know, technology, how we can improve on those things. And then also a little bit back to basics. You know, we're so blessed. We've got the beautiful Outeniqua Mountains, mountain biking, trail running. We've got our 3 leisure trails, our 2.5K, our 5K, and our 10K.
Yeah.
And it definitely will be, without a doubt, our focus going into the future, is that Fancourt needs to be a little bit more than just golf. It has to be. It has to be an environment that you can spend more than 1 or 2 or 3 days at. It needs to be a 7-day vacation with you and your family, and everyone in the family is looked after from start to finish. So we've got some exciting projects on the go, and I can't wait to, you know, to do them, to get to show them off, actually.
It's going to happen sooner or later. I mean, we're going into our winter now. So hopefully by the end of our winter, there's been a couple of changes in the world. It's certainly not easy times at the moment. You know, let's maybe just quickly touch on COVID-19. It's been a really huge blow for the travel industry, and I'm sure Fancourt's feeling it like the rest of us. You know, golf going forward certainly going to change. We touched on it briefly, but what are you guys working on plans wise? You going to implement any precautions or any, you know, hand sanitizers at the first tee or check-in, or less contact with your staff? I don't know.
I think, you know, all the safety protocols will be adhered to. Absolutely sanitizers, everything, every piece of equipment has to be sanitized. But you know, the tough part for me is trying to understand where the game's going to go into the future. Something that we pride on, we've got 138 contracted caddies. You know, are guests or are customers going to want to take a caddy? Are they going to see caddies as a risk? And potentially what it does do is it opens up opportunities for us to look and say, okay, a traditional caddy experience is going to change, but what can it look like? Certain golf courses in the States, I know, don't have caddies, but they have what they call a host. So potentially to have one caddy on every hole that does everything for you, that rakes your fairway bunker, potentially offers you advice, might clean your golf ball, and actually hosts you around the golf course. That could be an option. Spotters, we already have at Fancourt anyway now, you know, the 4 caddy experience. So we'll have to look at those things. You know, we've already been told, I mean, I sat on the Golf RSA little task force when they were putting together that risk mitigation document to government. And you know, there's going to be no bins out there. There's going to be no rakes. no ball washer, no sand bin that you can actually fill your sandbag with and repair your divots.
Sure.
So life in terms of golf and the golf experience is going to change. In the past, if you didn't take your customer's golf bag and clean their golf clubs before the round, it was a sin.
Yeah.
You weren't offering a 5-star experience. Now, I don't think we're gonna offer any of that. But we're gonna have to look at ways to up value. We're gonna have to, because I honestly think that in golf's been given a second chance. We've been so bad at marketing golf over the years, and we've lost players to cycling and mountain biking and all other sports. COVID-19 has actually come back and said golf's safe. You can naturally social distance. You don't have to come into contact with anyone else when you're playing the game. It's healthy. It encourages, community. So I think golf's been given a second chance. And I think what you're probably finding around the world, and maybe, everyone can comment, is that more rounds of golf are being played now. More memberships are being sold. We've got a member that runs a golf course in Norway. They approached government independently, and they were allowed to open.
Wow.
They said they sold more memberships in the first month after their lockdown than they have in the past 18 months.
Wow.
And that's because of the perception that now golf is safe. What are you going to let your kids do one day? Is everyone going to run around and play rugby or cricket or soccer for the next 18 months to 2 years?
Yep.
Or are you going to encourage your kids to take up the game of golf?
Yep.
And I think that's going to happen. I really do. So I think, I'm really positive and confident that that one, we can reinvent ourselves. We can definitely offer a safe, healthy experience. Encourage walking. We try to go the cart route for so long, and now that's a risk to take a golf cart. So hopefully everyone will walk. They'll probably end up carrying their own bag or pushing a trolley or electric one. I'm super excited. I think going to be a few good years ahead for us.
Yeah. No, I love the positive attitude. No, I think I'm in the same boat. We always adapt, and we'll make it work, and hopefully golf comes out stronger, because it has been a challenge, obviously, to keep families involved in the game and make sure that golf grows, because it certainly was almost on a decline for a while. But I agree. I think it's time for a change, and certainly we're positive about it. So at the end of COVID-19, if there is an end, we might just have to always have it, but there's going to be some positive changes. And I feel for the caddies, because the caddies are well known at Fancourt, and hopefully there is a way to restructure and make sure they're still involved in the experience, because it is important.
Absolutely. I had a meeting with the guys on Friday, and the good thing is that they realize it too. They're not just sitting back and hoping for us to come up with ideas. They've come up with ideas already. How they're going to market themselves and promote their own business, really, because that's what they are.
That's good.
Fun times ahead for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're gonna end off now. I think a couple of guys have just mentioned, thanks for the insight with regards to golf, because we end up speaking a lot about the estate, and they don't really hear too much what goes on behind the scenes. And I think, again, from my side, just a huge thank you to you and your team, because there is a lot that goes on behind the scenes, and our guests, always give it the huge thumbs up when they're at Fancourt. So, massive thank you again for all you do. Any other questions from anybody? I've got a couple of guys. Adam's gone quiet.
Nice to have Damien on the call.
Yeah, Damien, I forgot to welcome you.
He does such a fantastic job too. So
yeah, we're going to have a chat to Damien soon about what they're up to at Pearl Valley. Damien and I go way back. We know him at Clavelli, so certainly leading the way here in the Cape Town area. So Damien, we're looking forward to chatting to you soon. Adam wants to know what's your lowest round at the links?
64.
Oh man, awesome. I'm glad that wasn't when we played against you. No, that's awesome.
I play once a month now, so
really?
yeah, but managed to hold it together over that backstretch there.
And your family, are they playing a little golf, or is it other interests?
My daughter's a ballerina and loves singing and dancing and hip hop and everything. And my son, again, massive sports fan, plays everything,
cool.
and a decent player. Yeah, he plays nicely.
One of my good mates in Cape Town sends his best, and he says he used to bowl a mean in-swinger. His name's Craig Ballantyne.
Yes, I remember. He was a good bowler too.
Yeah, he was. He used to get his frame around. That's for sure. No, that's awesome. So what's next in the next couple of months? Looking after the golf course, you're gonna obviously start looking at implementing the new strategies, making sure that everybody's ahead of the game.
I think from a regulation perspective and offering an experience, we're ready to go. We're just waiting, when golf is allowed to come back. The real interesting thing is going to be on how we maintain the golf courses, because traditionally, like I said right in the beginning of the call, we've got 48 staff on each side, basically. But I don't think we can take the risk of bringing all 48 back on every given day, because if one person contracts COVID-19, then the whole team will have to go into quarantine. So we've designed our golf course maintenance team into three. We've split them up. They're going to work a week at a time and then overlap each other, so that they've always got 14 days back at home in between it, until we ride out this virus and until there's a vaccine on the market. I really don't think courses can take the risk that for 14 days the entire golf course maintenance team cannot work. So that's where we're at.
Cool. Yeah, I think we have to be patient. Damien just pipes up here. He says,
"Agree."
Absolutely agrees. So we'll have a discussion with Damien towards the end of next week about Pearl Valley and what they're doing, because they also do a ton of rounds, and it's a fantastic golf course. He was saying that it's looking absolutely incredible at the moment. I'm sure Fancourt's the same. Not many divots around.
It's not one pitch mark.
Yeah,
which is incredible. So
that's amazing.
Yeah,
cool. Ryan, again, I just want to thank you so much for your time. We're
a pleasure, buddy.
We're huge fans of what Fancourt is all about, and the support that you give us in the industry, and most importantly, how you look after our clients. So we
it's a pleasure.
Thank you very much. If there are any questions, then you guys can pop me a mail and we'll discuss that. But good to chat about our favorite golf estate up the Garden Route, man. Thank you again.
Appreciate you. Thanks, Warren.
Right,
cheers, buddy.
Cheers, mate. Bye.
Bye.